Hello and welcome to episode 7, right? Yeah,
Yep,
we're at
yep.
7 of the Pixel Power Up podcast. I'm Kevin Allen. With me, as always,
Ikaika, Shiveley.
And Wesley Babcock.
and how are you guys doing this week? This week of, man, what's the date today?
Today is
April
4/8.
8th.
Yes, 4/8/16.
So,
It's Friday, so I'm happy.
Dude, it's totally
Yeah.
Friday.
Just got off work, so I'm good.
Nice. Starting the weekend off. So what have you guys been up to? This is going to be a bit of a shorter episode because we have a little bit of a time constraint today. So we're going to be doing, we're going to be kind of briefing over what we've been playing because apparently none of us have been
we've all
playing
been too busy.
much of anything.
Except, Ikaika.
Ikaika seems to have something.
Yeah,
Ikaika, what have,
Just little stuff.
Okay.
Well, from new games that I haven't played before, or just not in a while, I downloaded a game. It's called Cat Goes Fishing on Steam. It's like a $3 game. Because I was like, I'm just going to buy some stupid $3 game. It's like I have
Sure.
something to talk about. So you're basically a cat, and you go fishing.
okay.
That's about it.
All right.
The
Sounds
music's
interesting.
really soothing, though.
And moving on to news. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
And the other game I started playing again, I forgot I had, was PewDiePie Legend of the Brofist.
Oh, that's
Okay,
a
yeah.
2D
I've seen that
platform.
Yeah,
one.
it's like, I'm showing you guys right now.
On
But it's
iOS,
pretty
yeah.
like a platform game, like with 8-bit or 16-bit graphics. The music is great in that game. It feels like you're playing a really old school game. If you're not a viewer of PewDiePie, then you may not understand like the inside jokes, and pretty much all the bad guys are based off of like things he talked about in games. And then there's other YouTubers like Markiplier that are playable characters as well.
How is the game part of that game?
It's really hard. I had to play
Okay.
on easy.
Okay.
But it's fun. It's a really hard platform. It's kind of frustrating at times, but it's a good game.
yeah.
The storylines, it's weird. It's PewDiePie, so that's what you expect. But the gameplay is really good. Just there's a learning curve.
Okay. Cool. Wesley, nothing? Not too much?
Nothing too much.
I haven't been doing much either, so we're probably just going to move on to news. Oh, you know what? I'm going to just touch down briefly on Hyper Light Drifter. That review's out. Go check it out. It's all right. It's a really fun and difficult game, but is hindered by very obscure map objectives, which completely halts your progress. And though it's like really nice to look at, like constantly looking at the same environments because you're super lost and you're just trying to find this one little obelisk, kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's what I hate most about a game, if it makes you, like, get lost.
Yeah, and I had been trying to review the game, so at the time I was playing it, there was no walkthroughs or guides, so I didn't know what to do. Like, no one on the internet could tell me what to do, which was trouble for me. So we're going to go on to news. Some stuff happened this week. Not too much, but some stuff. The Final Fantasy VII Remake is apparently going to be, much like the original, multiple full-sized games. The original came on multiple discs. This is going to be coming out in multiple installments. And I think that's kind of an interesting take on such a big remake. Ikaika, I know you're kind of excited for this. How do you feel?
Did they say like how far away would it be, like per month, or like are we going to have to wait like 5 months for the second
I don't know.
episode?
They didn't actually give too many. They didn't give like a price, a release date, or kind of the expected wait time. But I'm going to guess anywhere between 3 to 5 months.
And I'm guessing is it going to be full 60 for all of them, or are they going to pay like 30 for
I don't know if they could do that.
I hope it's not 60 each.
If it's going to be episodic, a lot of episodic things tend to be like $20 each, and then the full thing will become like $60. I really hope they don't do. It says full-sized games, which is kind of scary because then that might give them some precipice to actually charge $60 for
Yeah.
it. So
That's what I'd be scared of.
yeah, I'm definitely not going to end up spending like $180 on Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's exciting just because this remake is exciting in general, and it's kicking up quite a bit of buzz around the internet. I don't even like Final Fantasy VII that much. I mean, I never played the original, but I'm excited for the remake just because I really enjoy what they're doing with the combat system and how they're kind of revamping it to match more like what Final Fantasy 15 is doing. So that's going to be exciting. The next thing on our list that I wanted to talk about specifically is that Street Fighter, Capcom released a statement that they were kind of surprised when there was so much outrage over the lack of single-player content in Street Fighter V. And this is a quote that they were surprised by the interest in Street Fighter V single player, and they Oh, I'm sorry. This isn't a quote. No. Oh, this is a quote. Excuse me. They're surprised by the interest in Street Fighter V single player, which is crazy because the single player in any game is going to attract quite a bit of attention, especially not a AAA game, but a kind of a bigger game like Street Fighter. And an ongoing problem in the fighting game community is that games like Street Fighter are so difficult for beginners to get into. And one way that helps beginners get into it is like a solid story mode that will constantly ramp up the difficulty, and force beginners to slowly learn how to get better at the game compared to when you just go online, because then you go from 0 to 100.
Yeah, and it's like you can't handle.
You just can't handle.
Especially with Street Fighter, where it's already been an established franchise. So there's going to be those veteran players, but there's also going to be the younger or the newer audience that have never played before. And they may not even know like the backstory of any of the characters. And then so they just jump right into online and it's just a hellhole.
Yeah, and I mean, they do have that story mode coming out in June, but that should have been in the base game. And I hope that the reason that it wasn't in the base game is because that Capcom was unprepared for how interested people would be in a single player, because then that would just show that Capcom has no idea what fighting game fans are really thinking about.
Yeah, and that just speaks poorly to their marketing team.
Yeah, and it kind of speaks poorly to them attempting to plant the seed of Street Fighter into future younger players instead of just trying to gear the game towards the oldies that have been playing it for generations, for decades. And so they're going to promise to continually expand it, and they did bring up a good point that Street Fighter V is really just a platform for them to constantly update. So that's exciting. I mean, they did just release that shop, and they released Alex as a free character for people until the premium shop goes up. So it's cool that they're doing that, but it bums me out that they were so unprepared about the single player aspect of the game. Also, they did confirm that they released the game in March because of the Capcom Cup, which was starting in March. So they released it early just so they could get the game out to everybody.
Which it showed.
Which it showed that game was released early, because it's not a finished product. It's still not a finished product.
Nope.
So, I mean, they reap what they sow, though, because they did get a lot of bad press for that, and they deserve it, which sucks because Street Fighter V is at the base model, the core concept. That's a great game. Mm-hmm. I've been playing it still, and I still very much enjoy it, even though I'm getting bodied constantly. So
whenever I'm on my PS4 and it has all the games showing up, and then Street Fighter 4 or 5 is all the way on the right because I haven't played in so long.
You haven't touched it.
I'm just like,
it's collecting dust, Ikaika.
I want to play, but it's like people are. I don't know.
You spent $60.
I know. I mean, I'm gonna get the money out of it during summer when I play with like friends stuff back home. But right now it's just like it's not finished, and I wanted like a single player. So it's just frustrating.
I'm very much looking forward to that story mode and to see what they do and if they fulfill everything they promised, because they said it's going to be like a really expansive story mode. So we'll see.
So there's rumors going around. Well, we already heard rumors before about God of War 4 coming out. So there was actually leaked concept art that came out earlier this week, and every website it's been taken down. So which leads to that it's probably true. Because why would it be taken down if it's not real?
This is that God of War 4 will be featuring Nordic mythology, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a screenshot or a concept art of Kratos with a full beard and like
Kratos.
He looks like a Viking. Like it looks awesome. He doesn't have like the horns and all that, but it looks pretty badass. But I'm really excited for that. And then they showed. Almost like it looks like Avatar, like where it's really colorful jungle and stuff. So it's a totally different world that we've never seen before in God of War. And God of War, that series is like one of my favorite games. It's so good.
Yeah, and I'd be really excited if they got into Nordic mythology, because that's actually one of my favorite mythologies.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. Greek and Nordic mythology are both pretty cool stuff. So yeah, that's again though it's just a rumor. We're still not sure. That could just be concept art.
It could be, but let's hope.
It's a concept for a reason.
It looks so cool.
It does look cool.
Yeah, Digital Trends still has photos up.
Also, yeah, I looked at like 4 or 5 different websites, and they were all taken down. I was like, really? Even like the IGN video they had on YouTube, they had to reshoot it. Like, oh, we took down the photos and everything, so it's not even on the video anymore.
Yeah, people taking down content actually does add a small amount of validity to
because that
the
means
content.
someone was like, take this down.
Yeah,
which
someone at
is
Sony
more
is
than
like,
just
cut it.
yeah.
Yeah,
No.
that needs to be down. Actually, I'm going to add this story right now. Gears of War 4 is expected to release on October 11th. I just wanted to get that out there. And there will be an Xbox One beta for the game launching later this month. So Xbox One owners will be happy about that. And we actually just looked at this in the office. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm actually skipping a news story. The HTC Vive was released on the 5th of this month. Also something I just wanted to get out there. That is the second virtual reality headset, this one being produced by Valve as well as HTC,
yeah.
which is that cell phone company?
Cell phone company
in
correct,
China
yeah.
or Taiwan? Taiwan?
I
think Taiwan.
personally don't know, but there is also some kerfuffle there because they're having shipping errors where people ordered before others, but later orders got emails already. I mean, everyone that's released a headset so far has had problems because of the high demand. I mean, even the Oculus Rift is delayed for months on end till some people are going to get their stuff. So,
yeah, those lucky people who backed the Oculus Rift Kickstarter got theirs immediately,
and
everyone else
people
is
are
just
trashing
screwed.
because everyone's selling them on eBay now.
Yeah, for
it's
$2,000 or whatever.
$2,000.
They're just marking it up. Yeah, smart people, man. Make a little extra cash, a little extra dough. Yeah, and I've heard kind of a lukewarm response to the HTC Vive. People say it's a really impressive piece of technology, but the room scale thing, the room virtual reality thing, they just say that the requirements are too much. Like no one has that amount of free space in their house to set up the simulation where it'll see like, oh, you have a 5x5 place to walk around in that'll be transmitted into virtual reality.
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult, especially for people who live in more urban environments like New York and San Francisco. They just don't have that kind of square footage in their house to even allow for that. Mm-hmm. So, but apparently the headset is a really great piece of technology. I have not yet tried it, and I probably never will because I am very poor. So the next news story on our list is going to be the Attack on Titan trailer that we watched actually moments before recording this podcast. This is the Attack on Titan video game that was released for the PS3, PS4, and PlayStation Vita in Japan back in February. And the game is going to be getting a North American release on August 30th, which is pretty cool to see because I wasn't expecting that at all.
I knew they were going to do it, but I just didn't know how much later after. So since it's that's so many months, was it 7 months?
About 7 months.
Difference. I'm thinking they're gonna redub the voices.
I hope they don't.
Why else would it take seven months?
Yeah, that's long for just captioning it.
I mean, yeah, but
maybe there's
localization does take a very long time.
There's probably also an option where you can have it so they're speaking Japanese.
So I hope so. I
for
hope
the
there's
people
a subtitle option.
Who hate dub.
Purists. Purists like me.
I'm just lazy. I'm like, I don't want to read. I just want to listen.
It's just after years of watching Japanese anime, I'm pretty used to just
That's why I could never watch it.
subtitles.
I could never watch it on Netflix because they didn't have an English dub, so I would have to go out on the website and then find it. But it worked out.
All right. Yeah, I mean,
but the game though, it looks
rad.
It looks just like the show, but more.
It's a little more cel shaded.
Yeah, definitely. There's a different visual than the show, but basically all the action is still there.
Yeah, it looks a bit cleaner.
It looks very frustrating too, and I don't know if there's a multiplayer element to it.
I think the game is very much multiplayer focused. It's a lot like Monster Hunter, if you've ever played that.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's like it can be played as a single player game where you go out and hunt monsters, but what the real core of the game is grouping up with 3 other people and doing a hunt as a party, and that adds a whole lot of teamwork and planning. And from what I've seen, I've barely paid attention to this game. It seems like it kind of follows that layout where you're also grinding for materials to upgrade stuff. But I mean, it looks exciting. I'm probably gonna play it. I like the Monster Hunter games, and I do like Attack on Titan. You know, I've been around since the manga started.
This hipster.
The manga.
Hipster, yeah.
What a gaming hipster.
Whatever, I know what's going to happen, and you guys don't.
Go back to
because
Portland.
You follow the anime.
Yeah.
All right. Next story on the list is there was you guys aware of this? The whole butt pose controversy?
No.
I briefly saw it.
So a few characters actually, I think, in Overwatch have a pose where they're looking over their shoulder, and the pose has their butt in it. And people got really upset about this. something along those lines. I didn't really pay too much attention with it either, but what I do know is that Overwatch or Blizzard took out the pose and replaced it with a different pose because of these outbursts or the anger by fans.
Were they like female characters?
They were female characters.
So that's the reason why. Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's why.
Was
And-
it like over sexualized?
Well,
I
it's basically if you go to the link, you'll see something you could probably add to the video. But it's someone basically found a pinup image that looks identical, basically. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely some merit because that's too close to not have some inspiration,
Yeah.
and that is sexualized then because they're trying to match that.
Yeah, that's right. It's actually called the over-the-shoulder pose. So, I mean, it's good that Blizzard is paying attention to what their fans are complaining about and that they're trying to be a little more socially correct. Is that the term?
Politically correct. I don't know.
Politically correct. They're just trying to be more correct, I think. So that's good on Blizzard. I think it's just good that they're actually paying attention to what, fans are talking about and actually taking action.
There's so this pinup kind of similar pose is the new pose.
Oh, that's the new pose.
Yeah.
That's a strut pose that they
Yeah,
added
and
in,
that's at least more tasteful
I guess.
because it's art then more so than it is necessarily just sexualizing a character.
The thing is that I didn't really see the over-the-shoulder pose as sexualizing the character. I mean, she's looking over her shoulder, and like human beings have butts, so that's just gonna have to be
Yeah.
there no matter what.
I mean, you could have like a ripped male character, and you could have like
I mean, I don't see why not.
I don't understand. I really don't.
There are a lot of ripped male characters in that game. I'm cool with it. Both men and women
they both
should be able
have
to look
an over the shoulder. Yeah, they should
I'm just
both
saying,
have it. Yeah,
they should be equal.
Where's the controversy over all the Mortal Kombat characters?
Yeah, seriously. Like,
Yeah, I
Or
don't-
they're jiggling when they're standing still.
yeah.
I don't get that.
I mean,
It's
the
like just
Street
bouncing
Fighter,
around.
dude, the Street Fighter. Have you seen the Chun-Li glitch? It's if Chun-Li. This was actually patched out, but if Chun-Li was the second player, for some reason her boob physics just went fucking crazy, and they just fly all over the place. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna put that in the YouTube video, but it is a sight for sore eyes. So new releases this week are small. We barely have anything. We have Terraria coming out on the Wii U on the 15th. And that's kind of exciting because I want to see what they do with the gamepad because that game is very much in it's a 2D Minecraft essentially, though it has a little more depth than Minecraft. I don't know now because Minecraft has been so updated, but at the time Terraria had a little more depth. It had a little more going on. There were dungeons, there were more combat and RPG mechanics. So I'm excited to see what they do on the Wii U with the gamepad. It's the second screen you have to work with, and the game was also, I think, recently updated into like a more HD version. The graphics got a little bit better because it's an old game. I think Terraria came out in like 2010 or something, 2011. So I think it got revamped a little bit. So I'm excited to see this console release. Also, again, I can maybe pull out my Wii U every once in a while. It's
Blow that dust off of it.
yeah.
yeah,
No, it's more like vacuum that dust off of it now. It's
yeah.
yeah.
You're like Indiana Jones in like a tomb.
Yeah.
Just like trying to go with the sandbag or
Just
bag
have
of
to
sand.
replace it really quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like,
Boom.
I actually don't know where my Wii U is right now, so I'm actually gonna have to look for it in my apartment. The next new release is actually the one that is pretty big for most people. Is that Dark Souls 3 coming out for the PS4, PC, Xbox One on the 15th as well, and this is pretty look for. This game has been shown at I think last year's E3. It's been a pretty highly anticipated game. It kind of seems like the Dark Souls games are returning to its roots with this one. Its original developer is back on board with it after he went to go do Bloodborne, and now he's come back, which is why some people didn't like Dark Souls 2 because it had a different main lead developer. So it's cool to see that the main developer is coming back to work on this one and actually kind of reimagine what Dark Souls really is for a lot of people, because Dark Souls 1 is a fantastic video game as well as Demon Souls. So I'm probably going to pick this up, and I'm probably going to review it if I can find the time. It's a beefy game. It's maybe going to take me like a week to get through. So that review is going to be coming out a little late, but what are you going to do? And that's it for new releases. That's literally all we have. It's 2 games. It's a short list. Woohoo. So we're going to talk about this new feature on the podcast that we brainstormed today called Versus Mode. And in this feature, one person will ask a question and will serve as a judge. And then the 2 competitors will attempt to persuade the judge with their answer, and the judge has to pick one as the winner.
Yeah, so it's not based off of real facts. It's what their argument is, basically.
It can be ethos as
Yeah.
well as... it can also be factual. I mean, that's never a bad thing. So I'm going to start it off. And my question to you two competitors... Dun, dun, dun! Well, we should get a sound effect board in here. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, my question is, what is better, the concept of a PC or the concept of consoles?
Consoles.
PC. You have to go first, though.
All right, we're going to give our contestants 10 seconds to plan out their argument. All right.
Okay, I got it.
You got it? Wesley, are you ready to rumble?
Should be.
All right. Just go for it.
So while the common concept is that PCs have better graphics because they have more hardware to handle all that stuff, it also costs a lot of money. While a console is it's much cheaper, and it brings that out to more people, more families who can't afford a PC. And also with PC, it's harder to do local multiplayer, so two people playing on the same screen. I mean, you can do that, but it's so much easier and used with consoles that consoles are just that much better.
Wow. I'm actually going to put it... that was under a minute. I think we should have a timer for 1 minute to give your answer.
Okay.
So I'm doing
Yeah.
I'm literally doing that right now. All right. So Wesley?
Okay, so I'm arguing for PCs in that PCs are upgradable, and looking towards the future, sure, everything has its limitations, but it is growing more apparent that with the pace of technology, even current consoles, this generation, there's no guarantee that the $600, the $400 that you spend on a console and all its accessories will be lasting for the 7 years that the previous gen consoles had lasted for. So in the immediate future, we could be looking at like PS4 4.5, Xbox could have a quicker refresh. There's just different things, and one thing with PCs are, sometimes support goes bad, but there's a lot more games that will be released. You can play older games, you can always download a new operating system, and so you can just access a wider community. You can mod games. There's just all that room for more improvement.
Time. That was really good.
Yeah.
Dude, sorry, Ikaika, but you kind of got blown out of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should have a rebuttal.
I'm gonna
Rebuttal.
Next time.
I'm going to have to go with Wesley
time,
on
yeah.
this one.
Okay.
That was really good.
Okay.
All right. So now we're going to switch judges. So Wesley just got a point. This is another thing we're adding, is that we're going to have a constant point tally system.
Just going through.
Just going
all the
throughout
time.
every... until the Pixel Podcast dies. The Pixel Power Up podcast dies, which hopefully will be never. But
Yeah, hopefully never.
hopefully. So, Wesley, you got the first point.
Yeah.
First blood
History
over
making.
here. Yeah, definitely. This is down for the history books. All right. So, next question will be coming from Ikaika.
Okay.
Ikaika.
Here we go. You guys ready?
All right, I'm ready. Do it. Hit me with your best shot.
So, excluding Mario, who's the best character of the Mario franchise?
Luigi.
It's just, I don't even. Who would I argue for?
You can include villains too.
We can also edit all of this dead silence out.
Let's do Bowser then. I'll just.
You'll do Bowser?
Yeah.
All right.
Why not?
Let's do it.
He'll give you like 10 seconds.
I don't even need 10 seconds. I
All
actually might need 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I don't expect to win this one. I don't have extensive knowledge of lore, but we'll see.
I've played most Mario games.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, you got an advantage there.
Yeah. All right, I'm good.
And go.
So, Luigi is a classic underdog, right? His brother is just always in the spotlight. But much like Rambo, Luigi is the most important character. Let's look at the Mario RPG franchises, for example. Luigi, even though things are getting rough and heady, Luigi's always the comic relief. He's always brightening up the mood. And you know who takes the credit? Mario. But you know who doesn't care? Luigi. Because Luigi knows that he's an integral part of the Mushroom Kingdom. And you know what? He fucking bagged Daisy. Daisy's the hottest princess in the Mario Kingdom. She's tan. She's got like that yellow dress going on, which is way better than fucking Peach, who's like the most just generic princess out there. Luigi, he goes for the exotic ones, and that's something I can really enjoy from Luigi. Luigi also green, best color in the world. All right, and also Luigi, I think, was pretty good in Super Smash Brothers.
And that was good.
I felt pretty good about my answer.
That was pretty good.
All right, Wesley, you ready?
Let's go. All right, so I'm arguing for Bowser because he has got game. Mario thinks he has a princess, but she always goes missing, and guess who's with her? It's always Bowser. And Luigi doesn't even have this. He's got one steady chick, but he could just go steal Mario's chick. And what is this? So and Bowser's his own. He's an underdog of sorts. He gets kicked, he gets knocked out by Mario, but he always keeps coming back. He's that powerful character, and he's freaking like a lizard creature. He's got like scales, a turtle shell.
Bowser's
see, look, 30 seconds and I can do this. What is this? Yeah.
You want to keep going?
Bowser.
No, I think
Bowser for the win.
Bowser for the win. All right, Ikaika, you have two very solid answers to compete with right now. You have the Playboy Bowser.
Yep.
He's essentially the Batman.
See, look at this. A
billionaire.
character.
He's a billionaire playboy.
He's got a castle.
He has a castle. But,
Always has a castle. He has expensive traps.
Luigi is an integral staple in the franchise. He's Green Mario.
You can't keep arguing though. It's over.
Yeah.
You can't. I'm not listening to any of this.
Well, then what do you decide?
I had you really with the whole underdog thing, but Bowser's pretty much an underdog too because
he's not.
Yes, he is.
How is that true?
He's always picked on by Mario. We don't know who's in the wrong here.
He always loses, but he still comes back.
Yeah, but that dude has a castle. He has a whole empire under him. How is he an underdog if he's on top of people?
And the argument about Luigi can take, if Daisy's gone, he can always take a different girl. So he has that too. But I have to agree that Luigi is out of the limelight. He's always, he has his own games, but Bowser has his own games too. And Luigi's always, he's always looked down upon, like almost like the little brother that no one wants, or the older brother that's like mentally challenged.
That nobody wants.
Yeah.
So I gotta go with Luigi.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Wesley.
No, that's fair.
I thought you brought up some good points, though, Wesley.
Yeah, I was like, once you said Daisy, I was like, nah, I gotta take this.
That was a spark.
Just for humor.
Yeah, that was good, man.
That was hard for me.
That was
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. The
All
pain.
No, I just got to do another round. Just right off the bat. Here we go. Wesley. Now it's Wesley's
It's
turn.
my turn to decide the fate. So this isn't more of a yes/no, just more of something interest to me. Is gaming a sport, and why?
I actually don't think gaming is a sport.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Okay.
But you said first, so you get to go.
Yeah, you get to
What?
go first. Yeah.
You said I actually don't think so.
All right. Am I going to get my 10 seconds?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Whenever you start speaking, I start.
Let's define sport. A sport is an activity involving physical exertion and skill. Physical exertion is the key term I'm going here for. I don't think gaming is a sport. I think it's an e-sport. It's an electronic sport. But to define it as a sport, using the word sport that we all use today, right now, gamers... Look, I'm not saying that it's easy, not like they don't have to click, but clicking I don't think is a great physical exertion that would be classified under the sports umbrella. Also, that's all I got, actually. That was my whole argument, was that they have to... clicking's not, like, difficult, though,
You got 20 seconds.
I have 20 seconds? All right, I can hammer this point in a little more. A professional League of Legends player and a professional football player are two very different people. And I wouldn't call, a football player an esports player. He's a sports player. But I wouldn't call a League of Legends player a sports player. I call him an esports player. All right, that was pretty loose at the end. I kind of lost the thread, but we just kind of got to go.
You carried your vein and you stayed strong with it.
That's my main point. I don't think it is a sport.
Okay.
It definitely is a sport. First of all,
Wow.
there's fans, there's sponsorships, there's teams. There you go. And your exact definition of a sport, which is physical exertion and skill, you need skill to be a good player. Exertion, I think people get pretty sore hands and thumbs from playing. And not just that, when you're mentally in the zone, you just become you become exhausted just from thinking so hard and trying to strategize everything you can. So that goes into physical exhaustion and your whole League of Legends versus football player element. That's like saying a baseball player and a football player are different. Yeah, they're different, but they're both athletes. Just because you're an athlete of a different sport doesn't mean you're not an athlete for a sport. And I think I just nailed. I think I nailed it. So
Those are
I'm gonna get it right
arguments.
You didn't nail it.
I did.
Just because you're mentally exhausted doesn't mean you're doing physical exertion. Chess players are mentally exhausted, but we don't call chess a sport.
Okay, so the decision.
It's decision time.
Well, I will admit I'm slightly biased on this, but just going, I mean, you can't ever take a literal definition. I mean, and true, if I would have said esports, it would have been more defined. But just going from the point of view, it's one of those things, esports, sports, both take skill, both take practice, both require teams and team effort in some cases. It can be an individual, like swimming, or a team sport like baseball or football or something like that. So I have to go with Ikaika in this case. I'm
But
sorry.
are we calling esports sports?
I'd say, I mean,
Or are we saying gaming is a sport?
gaming is a sport.
You see? It's not. It's an esport.
It's a sport.
But that's,
it's-
that's
And
taking very little
we are
interpretation.
diversifying esports and sports, right?
It's on ESPN.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
you wouldn't call Dota 2 a sport. You'd call it an esport. Because it's electronic.
This is where we're getting into semantics of the words. But
You
that was-
lost.
But no, that was
my
too.
whole argument was about semantics.
Yeah, and
I
that's,
gave you the Luigi point. Just
but that's
calm down.
fine. Yeah,
We're all tied.
yeah, we're all tied. Out of the first podcast, everyone is all tied.
I feel like I got fucking cheated out of that one.
Nah.
Nah.
I acknowledged your points.
You
Those
did.
were good points.
Well,
yeah.
so I
Man.
think that was pretty fun. We might continue that instead of doing our normal questions. Just put us
yeah.
in the hot seat. Next time we'll try to plan it out so it's more organized. Maybe we'll have sound effects and everything. So maybe we'll spend less time on some of the news that aren't as worthy and do this because this might be more interesting.
And we might try to aim for shorter podcasts for you guys so that we can maybe spice it up a little bit more, add video clips to show what we're talking about, more pictures, make it more than just you listening to us.
Also, if you guys want to send in questions that maybe I'll pick up or Ikaika will pick up and use as our question, feel free to set it into Pixeled Questions.
Yes.
PIXELEDQUESTIONS @gmail.com.
You can also look down below on the YouTube description.
Yeah, it'll be down there. And that was a good podcast, you guys. That got my heart
It was
racing.
very solid. Yeah, we were all into it.
I was
know,
way
it's hot
into
in
it.
here.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
need to go.
See, exercise.
Yeah.
Strategies.
This is a
skills.
sport too, I guess.
Yeah. Podcasting.
Podcasting sports.
Practice.
All right. Well, as from the Pixel Power Up podcast to you, good night and goodbye. I
Bye.
still don't know how to end the podcast. Bye. Later, alligators.